Do you like it? I got it from Bray. No, seriously. Hey Bray, say something. Nope. So this should have happened a very, very long time ago. Shinsuke Nakamura coming up to the main roster was a thing that was almost guaranteed. But WWE like to do things differently now. They want to grow their talent a little bit in NXT. Ultimo Dragon was huge. Suddenly he comes into WWE and just does nothing. It's kind of sad that Dolph himself hasn't amounted to anything great. His Money in the Bank cash-in is one of my favorite cash-ins of all time. Unfortunately, Dolph has not done anything after that has resembled even a slight bit of that night. So how do you book Nakamura and Dolph? Booking the storyline is really interesting because I think if Nakamura starts just winning all his matches, the fans are gonna kind of lose that Nakamura fizzle. He's gonna turn into maybe not exactly as Roman Reigns and John Cena are, but he's gonna be heading down that path, and you don't want that. So keeping that in mind, Dolph Ziggler versus Shinsuke Nakamura at Backlash, Dolph needs to win that one. Give Dolph that unexpected win, and then have Nakamura fight his way back. He gets a little bit of that underdog feel where, like, oh shit, he lost the first one. Now he has to win this one. Have Nakamura win the second one. And at the rubber match, maybe don't even have a winner of that, because that would make Dolph look good, and that would still help Nakamura if someone interferes on behalf of Dolph. And I think a good person to do that would be Baron Corbin. And then whenever those two meet up, well, we'll see what happens then. Now this is a heel turn I am very happy with. So it's finally getting behind Sheamus and Sheasaro, or as they like to call themselves now, Sheasaro. But with everything aside, I think these guys adding the heel turn to their already rising stock, amazing. I loved it. And it only helped that Sheamus accidentally kicked Jeff Hardy's tooth out. So I think the best way to book Sheasaro versus the Hardy Boys is let Sheasaro next week win that gauntlet tournament, and then from there, let their momentum continue building and eventually take the belts off the Hardy Boys at the next pay-per-view, which is Extreme Rules. And once they've had their last match, the Raw after the pay-per-view, which I'm assuming would probably be around the time of SummerSlam, you have the Revival show up. The Revival go and try to help Sheamus and Sheasaro, and Sheamus and Sheasaro are a little taken aback for a second, but Revival say, hey, you know what, we're on your team, it's all cool, don't worry about it. And then the second Sheasaro are not expecting it, Revival turn face and attack Sheasaro. And then you can see where the two teams go from there. I'm sure they'll have great chemistry and they'll put on some great matches. As for the Hardy Boys should continue in the tag team division for a little bit of time until the draft comes up, and then you can split them and give Matt Hardy the broken gimmick again, because, well, I'm sure by that time they would have won the rights. This week's Gawd moment is finally without Braun Strowman, because this week's moment belongs to his savior, Bray Wyatt. So Bray Wyatt came out, spoke a little bit to Kurt Angle and told him, hey, listen, I want to run this shit on my own, so get the fuck out of my way or, I'm gonna kick your ass. And Kurt goes like, you ain't kicking my ass because this is my show. So Bray goes like, alright, you know what, I'm gonna kick someone else's ass. And that was Finn Balor. So let's start with something that I feel not a lot of people like. The 5-on-5 elimination matches at Survivor Series are some of the most fun and exciting matches I've ever seen. Well, these matches date a long time back to the golden era age with Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, and all these guys. Moving forward a number of years, I mean, there were some great matches with Rated RKO's team versus DX and CM Punk and the Hardy Boys. You also had Team Lesnar versus Team Angle. And then look at last year's match, where it lasted an hour with bragging rights for both brands, and then the whole culmination of the Shield again, and all of those stories that everyone told with AJ Styles and Shane McMahon taking that vicious spear. I mean, it was a beautiful match from start to finish, and there's so many mini stories in that one big story. I think that match is very underrated and should be up on many people's lists. Here comes the money! Money in the bank! Money, 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 bank, 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 bank. I don't even need to explain why. Money in the Bank is such a fun match. They do so many different and cool spots The Kofi Kingston, I mean, he's been incredible over the years. Shelton Benjamin, CM Punk has won the match twice. And then everything that happens after winning that match, where you have a briefcase and that surprise element of cashing in is also such a fantastic thing. And number one is obviously the Royal Rumble. I love it so much. It was the first pay-per-view I ever chose to go to. It's such a fast-paced pay-per-view. You never know what's happening. There's always a surprise element. You could still count number 30 Roman Reigns being a surprise part of the show because everyone expected a return or a debut, and then suddenly Roman Reigns comes out and everyone's like, what the hell? I did not expect that. So there's no surprise there. Royal Rumble, for me and many other fans, is probably number one. Braun's number 10 because, well, he should have won that match versus Roman Reigns, who was half broken, much easier. And then after the show, he ran into a door. I mean, number 10. This week's number 9 is Seth Rollins because, well, he pulled off a sneaky win at Payback, but then failed to win the triple threat match on Raw. Number 8 is Chris Jericho. Jericho won the title at Payback, but then lost the title immediately the night he defended it on SmackDown Live, and then got his ass handed to him by Kevin Owens. Number 7 are the 4 bitches of SmackDown. I don't mean any offense to Mina, just don't kill me. But technically the 3 women beat down the other 3 women. Number 6 is the Maharaja Jinder Mahal. Jinder's dropping a few points only because, well, Sami Zayn kinda lost to 3 people, not 1. He had a decent showing at Payback where he took out Randy Orton. Number 5 is The Miz, who pulled off a big win in that triple threat versus Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Number 4 is, again, the new United States champion, Kevin Owens. Losing it, winning it, and then destroying the guy who beat you for it, well, that's pretty good. Number 3 are the team with a new attitude, Sheasaro. Sheamus kicked Jeff Hardy's tooth out, and solely for that reason, I'm gonna give you number 3. Number 2 is the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. Bray won a House of Horrors match on Payback, and then made a statement on Raw the next night by taking out one of its top guys, Finn Balor. And number 1 for the second time is Alexa Bliss. She became the first woman ever to be the Raw Women's Champion and the SmackDown Live Women's Champion. And she defeated Bayley, who had broken Charlotte's streak, so Bayley was kinda on a streak herself. So coming onto Raw and in her first title match, doing that, that's impressive. So this week, my trivia question belongs to this guy. Armageddon 2002, Kurt Angle convinced a certain somebody to help him in his match versus The Big Show. That person came out, helped Kurt win the title. Who is that person? Last week's correct answer was Edge took out Kofi Kingston at No Way Out 2009 to replace him in the second Elimination Chamber match. We had a lot of answers this week, and these are the lucky winners. You can follow them with T for Twitter and I for Instagram. Well, that's this week's show. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all the support, all the comments, all the likes, all the shares, and all the subscriptions. So you can find my channel on YouTube, Kayfabe Jobber, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Kayfabe Jobber. And this coming week, I have a very special surprise for all of you. So that's it for me. Kayfabe Jobber, out.
No! Oh, his back! Oh my god, look at it! They're zooming in, look! Oh! By the way, that's strawberry jam. It's not blood, for sure.